Hey there, it's Elizabeth, and welcome back to another video in the series of how I make a junk journal. Whew. Okay, so yes, last week I wasn't able to put a video out, but I am this week. So welcome if you're new here. And I think in the video that we left off, we were perhaps putting the signatures together. I'm not sure. And then I think I gave you a sneak peek into some of the things I was going to add into the book. And some of those things were going to be sewn in. And so before you, bind your signatures into the book itself, you need to do all the sewing first, because, think about it. If you've got a journal, right, like this here, for instance, if you have a journal, then, and everything's already sewn in, bound into the spine, and you want to sew on this page, it's going to prove difficult because you've got to finagle the book like this, and, it's pretty much nearly impossible. So if you want to, sorry for the reach, sew in anything or any of that stuff, you need to do that before you bind your journals. Now, I've made junk journals in the past, and I've been struggling with this one, not gonna lie. Okay, normally my journals are, and you've seen them before, but I'll show you again, just as a reminder. Like when I do a book like this, right, I sew in 2 signatures, okay? It ends up looking like this, all fluffy and beautiful and all of that stuff. But the pages themselves are just flat pages, all the same size, flat pages, okay? Not anything, sewn in, or you just put that there so it doesn't fall, sewn in or anything like that. I do all of the decorating as I'm journaling. So that's why this has proven to be difficult, because I've never really made a junk journal this way before. I've always just stacked the papers together however I wanted to, stuck them in the book, and then I went ahead and, journaled and decorated as I was journaling, if that makes sense. So I decided to try something a little different, and I have to tell you, I will probably not make a journal like this again. It's not that it wasn't fun. It was fun. It was just, it's very time consuming, and, finding the time to do it, and then getting motivated to do it, and then thinking, how can I add this? How can I add that, right? So I will hopefully give you some tips and okay, rewind that. I will hopefully give you some tips and tricks on things that you can do if you don't want to do it this way, okay? Gosh, good grief. Okay, here are my 2 signatures, okay? We're going to put one of these aside, and I'll show you what I did, okay? And I'll try to explain as we go through what types of things I did in preparation for making this signature, right? Okay, so the very first page, and let's talk about the pages for a second. They're all varying in sizes. There's some bags in here, doilies. You'll see as we flip through it. But what was I going to say about that? I can't remember. Oh my gosh, maybe I need more coffee. Okay, so if you remember, I did some printing on vellum. I think it's gorgeous. Okay, gorgeous. Another thing I was thinking too was I was watching somebody, and I can't remember what my last thought was, so I can't remember who I was watching. Who was it? Okay, I can't spend that much time on my brain. Okay, anyway, they were talking about how it's really difficult to like start the very first page, right? Well, here is a little tip for you. Do something like this if you can, or put like just a decorative piece of paper on top. I really love this vellum because it's just really pretty, but there it is. It's already decorated, okay? So I don't have to worry about that. Now, as I go along journaling, I could, of course, attach something to this. I could make this a pocket. I could do some kind of cluster. I could do something on it to embellish it. But if I don't want to do that, or I'm not motivated to do that, then it looks beautiful as is, okay? Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. I have no idea how many pages are in this. I really don't. I could sit here and count them, but I probably won't. So if you guys want to count them as we go along, go for it. Now, right here, another decorative element that I put. Oh, I should have brought a tag. Dag nabbit. Do I have one? Okay, we'll just use this card here. Or maybe not, because that's like very, whatever. Very shiny. Okay, we'll use this. That's like matte. There's stickers. Okay, so this right here is the second page, okay? And then it opens like that. And I have an envelope on this side. Now, this is open, okay? I did not glue it down. I can glue it down when I go to journal it. But what I did do is sew it along the edge here with a zigzag stitch. And then you could just tuck something into it like that if you want, or make a large tag. See, it just sticks right in there, okay? Doesn't come off or anything. So there's an idea for you. Now, another thing you could do as well, if, let's say, and see, this opens up like that, okay? Let's say you wanted to put the envelope in, right? And you wanted to have, it's hard to tell the sewing because I sewed in white, but anyway, it's there in zigzag. So if you don't want to sew it directly to the book, like let's say you've already put your signatures, you've bound them into the book, into the spine of the book, then you just take your envelope over to the sewing machine if you happen to have one, and you sew it here, and then you simply glue it on, okay? So it appears as though it is sewn in, and I'll show you some examples of that as we go, but it's really not sewn in, okay? So, and what that does as well, and sometimes I do like doing that, I like to sew it first and then glue it in, and here's why. Because on the opposite side, right, if you can see that, see, you have the sewing, which is perfectly fine because in this case, it's on the edge of the paper. So it's not gonna harm anything or get in your way or anything like that. And then of course over here we have the other part of the envelope, which is a flip out. And of course there's a pocket there that you could put all sorts of goodies in. Now, when I go to journal with this, I can cover this whole thing up. I don't have to use it as a pocket. There's so many different ways of doing it. And I hope, you know, you continue watching the channel because this is what you're going to be seeing me working in next year, 2023. Okay, so let's keep going. All right, you know what? I could just make tally marks maybe? I don't know. Okay, so there's 2 pages right there. And both my signatures don't have the same amount of pages. I don't know. So anyway, okay, then we have this right here. This was the main page, okay? It was a brochure. And so what I did, this is just a tag I stuck in there. But see what I mean? Right here is the sewing, right? So when I go to cover this up with a piece of paper or whatever, it's gonna have sewn marks there, you know? I don't know. So it just depends on what you like or whatever. I have the same thing here. If you don't want the stitching right there smack in your book, then I would suggest that you sew. In other words, if you don't want the sewing to go through to the other side of the page, so just sew it first and then glue it on, okay? And then I had this beautiful trim here that my girlfriend from the UK sent me, and so I put that on as a tab. There's still a lot of things that I want to do with this journal as far as tabs and tucks and pockets and all that kind of stuff, but those things I'm going to do when I'm actually working in the book, okay? So this, I don't know, is just there, just hanging out. Okay, then this is a piece of ledger paper, so let's mark that down. So okay, the yellow is 3 pages. This is 4 pages. Okay, this right here is a pocket. This came from a faux flow journal. I simply sewed it in. Okay, again, you must do that before you bind it into the book if that's how you want to do it. This was just an extra page that I put in. It's actually not going to be bound to the book, but it's part of this page. Now, I know you guys don't probably remember, but this page right here, the background here, was very thin vintage magazine and super duper thin. So what I needed to do was reinforce it, right? So I just put some old book text, glued the whole thing down, found this in somewhere and glued that down. So now I have a more sturdy page, right? And I thought I was going to put a pocket here, but I guess I didn't. Okay, so there's 5 pages. Okay, here was just a piece of scrap paper from the Faux Flow, and I just sewed it in. Now this is a perfect example right here. I sewed just the piece of paper first, okay? And then I glued it in, okay? And then it's a little pocket. And then I can decorate the front here. I could put another tuck spot. It all depends on what I'm journaling about that day. So we'll see how that goes. And then right here, I snipped the end of this bag. So here's a little pocket. Okay, I guess I'll count those as well. I don't know. Okay, this right here was just a piece of beautiful origami paper that I folded in half and sewed it on, you know? And again, this can be used as a tuck spot, okay? You just shove your stuff there and it doesn't move, you know? It's there. It's perfectly fine. And then I can decorate the back of this if I want to, however I want to do it. I can put a tab on here if I want to. I can do lots of things. The only thing I cannot do is, like, for instance, sew a tag on here or sew a tab or a piece of trim or lace or whatever after the book is bound, okay? So there was another page. Okay, and again on this side, tuck spot there, okay? This was just a beautiful piece of fabric I got in Happy Mail, or it was in one of the Faux Flows. I can't remember, but it's just gorgeous. So I just am going to use it like that. And then when I go to decorate the page, I'll decorate it however I want. But I just think it's really pretty. And there is nothing saying that I can't go in here with pinking shears at a separate time, cut it across here, and then use this piece of fabric elsewhere, okay? I can also do that if I wanted to. No big deal. Okay, so here's another page. This is just scrapbook paper right here. And then this is another example of sewing something before I glued it in, okay? Now, if you see up here, and I'm not sure because it's white on white, but I'll lift it up if I can. Right there, okay? And then it goes underneath that black. You can see it right there. See, it's like lumpy and bumpy. So, like I said, if you don't want the lumpy and bumpy, let's see why that's there. Okay, yeah, I would take this piece of fabric and sew it on my sewing machine first so that I have the stitching, and then I would simply glue it in. That alleviates this bumpy, you know, stitching on the opposite side of the page, okay, or on the other side of the page. And then here I use that beautiful image that I love so much, and I made 2 pockets, right? So here's one pocket here, and then here's one pocket here. Just sewed some trim onto it. Did I sew it? Yep, I did. I sewed the trim on. This whole pocket thing I sewed first, and then I simply glued it down, okay? This is that beautiful wrapping paper. Did I even count that page? See, now I'm like losing count. I think this is the next one, so there we go. The number of pages is going to be approximate, okay? Just a piece of wrapping paper, a pretty little doily, just for decoration. This here, again, I will decorate it and all that kind of stuff when I have it completely done and when I'm actually working in it. This right here, I decided to leave it. It is a tip out, but I could just as easily tear this off if I don't want it. I can glue it here to make a pocket, whatever the case is, right? I could even attach something onto this if I needed more room. I mean, it's just versatile, you know, very versatile. You can do whatever you want. On this side, I glued this in a while back, I think, back when we first started. So obviously this tag is too big, but there's a pocket there, and then this whole thing is a tuck spot. And I just glued it in. I didn't sew it or anything. This is a tab that I made on my punch board thing, but you could easily get a template offline and just cut it with scissors, no biggie. So that's on regular paper. And then this is a greeting card. And when I go to do something with this, I will cover this up or whatever, right? Or just cover this bottom part. I could just make a pocket right here. So many different things I could do, right? And then here is this, a beautiful piece of vintage, I don't even know what it is, trim, lace, something. So I just sewed that on the back as just a flip up, you know? I'm not sure if anything would, no, nothing would stick in there and stay. So it's just purely decorative, okay? And then I lost count again. So yeah, all right, let me see. Did I count the wrapping paper? We'll just count at the end, guys, okay? And then you'll know for sure. All right, so there's that. This is gonna be the center of my book. I usually, when I bind my books, I usually have the threads in the center. So, and then there's, you know, this, and then here's the other side of the signature, okay? Again, I decided not to sew anything here, but then on this page, I decided to use this right here that somebody made. I do believe that's sweet. Oh, my brain is not working today. Laura made this, okay? A vintage piece of fabric right here that I just sewed down, right? And then I glued this piece of fun, I think it's origami paper as well, but super thin paper, really fun and playful, and of course pink, because this tag got kind of lost on the map, you know? And then I just sewed this down so that it's, you know, a little hangy-offy on the edgy, okay? And then this will be a pocket, like I said. This right here, again, I made it into another tuck. So there you have it. When they're on the side, for some reason, they do stick in there, right? On the top, not so much, or maybe it was because I used fabric and not, you know, something more sturdy. So here is a San Francisco, California postcard, just beautiful. Okay, the other side of the doily, this, and then this right here, I sewed this ruffle, super easy to do if you have a sewing machine. If you don't have a sewing machine, I do believe that you can just fold it and glue it, okay? And then this, again, me and my tuck spots, okay? I love this little ballerina. I can make a long tag and stick that in there as just a tuck spot, okay? But I love this right here, so I stuck that on there. I sewed it first and then I stuck it with Fabri-Tac, okay? And see, this is, it's on the edge, so it doesn't really make a difference, but there is the other part of the scrapbook paper. This right here is a pocket made from one of Lynn, from Loveland's Life. It is a postcard that she makes and she sent it to me, I do believe, when I bought one of her books. So there's that on that. This just plain, nothing here. This is the other part of the bag. Now this, I think I added, this is a CD case, and so it has a pocket, you know, right there. And then this was the other side of that super thin vintage magazine, and so I took one of these, whatever it's called, paint swatch things, and I cut it down to size and just glued it on to make it more sturdy. This would be a great little, you know, it's just a window envelope, so super cute. And then on this side, see, I took the whole thing, actually, I sewed this ruffle first, and then I took the page like this, right? Opened it up, put it in my sewing machine, and then sewed the ruffle on. So when you close it, see, you see the ruffle from this side, you can see the ruffle, but not colorful. Anyway, and then this right here, tuck spot, you know. And then this is the other side of the ledger. I did not do anything on this, although what I might do is trim this off before I bind it in, because knowing me, I'll like sew it together and then I won't be able to open it. So, yep. So there's that. And then this right here is a belly band. Okay. I've had this picture from my sweet sister Karen for so long from Australia, and now I'm finally using it. So, and this was just on a scrap belly band that I'd made years ago. Okay. And so I can make a whatever, a big tag and put it in here, whatever the case is. I can still decorate the back of this page. I could watercolor on it. I could use my daubers on it. I could do whatever, you know, it doesn't matter. And then make a tag or something, and then I have this belly band here to use, okay? And then that, oh no, it's not. Okay, this was kind of hilarious, I have to tell you. The woes of me sewing, okay? So here's a little tuck spot here. I just happen to really love the flowers. There's actually a rip in here. Do I care? No, I don't, okay? But I had seen online where when you're sewing and you like pull the thread out, it could have been, I don't know if it was on YouTube or Instagram, but you pull the thread out and you wad it up, right? And then you start sewing it again. What a nightmare. I need to watch that again, clearly, because this did not come out as intended, but still looks pretty cool. So yeah, and there's a little pocket there, and then here is the back. Okay, so let us start again. Okay, so this is gonna go in the center. They're all pretty much where they need to go, right? I don't care about these. I will clip them when I feel like it, right? The overhang, I don't care about that. I'll do that. I'll do something with that later. But let's just go ahead and count how many pages. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not counting this. 5 pages, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm counting the doilies. 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, 14 pages per in this signature. All right. Now, this bad boy is ready to go. Okay, it's ready to get bound into the book. I love some stuff hanging over the side. It does not bother me at all. And so that's how this one's shaping up. And then we'll take a look at the next one, the second one, because I'm only putting 2 signatures in my book. It is also not going to be for any particular time frame. It's going to start in January and it's going to go for however long I go, okay? Normally when I do my junk journals, I put 2 signatures in. They are made of 8 pieces of paper, and I use 1 signature per month, and I journal 1 page per day, okay? This is gonna be a little bit different from that. So it's all an experiment because I've never really journaled this way. So let's keep going. Okay, so this is the next one, and I kind of lost steam. I mean, I have to say, all right? I kind of lost steam, but they're done, so I'm just thankful for that. Okay, so here is the printed vellum. Love that. So pretty. And again, if you're, you know, if you have that, oh, I don't want to do anything to the first page, this is a really great thing, you know, to do, because it's just beautiful as is, okay? I did the same thing with an envelope, okay? So there's a tuck right there. I zigzagged it right down there. And what I do, let's see if I can do this. This is how I do it, just to show you. I put it on my sewing machine like this, okay? That's how I do it. I hope that helped. I don't know. I don't have it set up to where I can, you know, show you exactly how I sew it and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so here's the envelope. Again, same deal, right? Pocket there, super cute. Let's get you in the center-ish. All right, this is just a piece of fabric I had, so I sewed a ruffle, and this is another example. I sewed it first, and then I just glued it down, okay, onto the page. This paper, by the way, is by Amy at Darkwood Sanctuary. She has such beautifully dyed papers, okay? Ooh, this stuck. Okay, now this was interesting, and I'll tell you why it stuck in a second. So on this page, I did the same thing here. Like I sewed this first, okay, and then glued it on, all right? And there we go, okay? Oh, and just so you know, something's gonna fall, hang on. Oh, maybe not. Okay, this is the glue that I use, all right? pH neutral PVA. I'll leave the link below. It adheres really well. I have liked it so far. It comes in this big bottle. That is what I use in this bottle, okay, for my fine line gluing. So that, I use that glue mostly, or glue stick, okay, or I use the stinky glue, okay, Fabri-Tac, and that's usually just for heavier items, okay? So here's a pocket here. Then on this side, this was a calendar page, super thin. So I had a napkin in that beautiful pile. And so I put a glue stick, just regular glue stick, covered the whole side, and then just slapped the napkin down, okay? And then later came in and put this, just stapled this little tabby-do on, right? Here is the inside. Sorry if there's a glare. That's the inside of the, whatchamacallit, calendar, okay? Now, this was like a children's book, a vintage children's book, and what I did was I had this in there from one of the Faux books, and I just simply glued it on. That's all I did. And then on this side here, this was another thing from the Faux. Well, almost everything is from the Faux books, right? I'm digging through these two baskets here to use materials from that, okay? So I just thought that looked really cute. It was originally square. I fussy cut it out, cut off the edge, and just straight stitched it on, and it's a little tuck spot. This right here is just a vintage, you know, math paper, and then I had this cute little dachshund. Oh, isn't it adorable? From my girlfriend in the UK who has a dachshund. And so I just put that on there as a tab, okay? Didn't do anything with that. Here's a doily. Here's a bag, of course, right? This was that black tissue paper, and I love it. So I made a little paper ruffle, and those are super fun to make out of thin tissue paper. It's a little hairy to do in your sewing machine, but again, I sewed it first, then I glued it down, okay? This is my own dyed paper, and I use food coloring, okay? That's what I always use to dye my paper, and I love it. So I'll put that link below in case you're interested. Here is this beautiful trim again. Oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. And this vintage wrapping paper, oh my heavens, so beautiful. Now see here, because it's the fabric, it's not a tuck spot. It's just there purely for decoration because it's absolutely beautiful. Now, when I go to journal in it, I could, oh great, and I sewed it on upside down, which is even better, right? Doesn't matter. It really does not matter to me. However, yeah, when I go to journal on this page, I could easily staple something onto this piece of fabric if I wanted to, and then journal here on this page, or add things, make a tuck tag pocket, whatever. I can't believe I did that. Oh well, that's life. Oh, this was interesting. Look at that, okay? Oh my gosh. I don't even know if you could see it. I think you can, but I'll bring it up. Look at that. I can't get everything. Okay. Look at that mess, all right? Now, that's what happens when I don't play a seamstress on TV either, by the way, but I've done my share of sewing, okay? So well, you couldn't tell by this, right? So this happens when, excuse me, I was filling my bobbin, all right? I put the bobbin back in, and then what I neglected to do was redo the needle, right? What is that called? Oh my gosh. Not thread it. I threaded the needle, but I did not go the up and down and around and all that kind of stuff, you know, to put your thread in. And this is what happens. This is all bobbin. Oh my gosh. It took me a little bit to figure out what I had done wrong. I was like, good grief. Okay, so I can do whatever these pages, and I'm fine with blank pages because I'm gonna cover a lot of this stuff up anyway. Okay, and then we have this right here that opens up, cross stitch pattern from a magazine. And again, I could either tape these or, well, I could tape them with washi tape. I could glue them down. I could rip this whole thing off. I could do whatever I want to do. Here is a card, right? And then this right here is from Sweet Allison, and it was an envelope that I had, and I tore it off. Well, actually, I tore it here, and then I sewed it on. Now, what I did for this one, because that's the center, this is what I did for this one. I had this lovely, it's like a yo-yo is what I'm assuming, vintage fabric, and I just folded it in half, put it right on the spine there, or the center, right? Folded it around, okay? Now, when I went to my sewing machine, I just took this glittery gorgeousness and laid this on it and just sewed it down and across, okay? And then here is a nice, sweet little tuck spot, okay? This, you can't do anything with, tuck it. I just put it there because I think it's gorgeous. So there's that. But then what ends up happening is now you have this on the other side, okay? So yeah, I can do something with that. But it also has this on it, okay? So the stitch marks, which is fine for me. I don't really care, but... And then I had this pretty little envelope, so I decided I'm probably just gonna put this right in the center, and I might just glue it shut so that this just goes like this, you know? It all depends, because this, I don't think that would work. I need a bigger envelope because this envelope's too small. My stitches are only gonna come down about an inch or so from here and an inch up from here when I sew it in, so that's not gonna help out at all. I don't know. We'll figure that out when we get to it, won't we? So there's that, and then this is the other side. So there's that. This is the other side of the card. This, I just simply folded one of those origami things over again. This becomes a tuck spot right there. If I want it to be, whatever, I could always glue this on. Doesn't matter. I could add a tab here or down here. And this is some vintage lace across the bottom. Same thing over here, although I did not do the vintage lace, but it is still a tuck spot, right? For a large tag or pocket, receipt, whatever. This is, let's see. Oh, this is the other side of that beautiful wrapping paper. I just took some vintage fabric and stapled a tabby-do up there. And I glued this on to sturdy up the paper. This is so gorgeous. And then I took this, and did I put it on the right way? Yes, I did. Oh. Muy bien, Elizabeth, muy bien. Okay, so this I sewed here, and so this, of course, ends up being a pocket, but I love that. Oh, so pretty. And then here again is the dyed paper, and then here's the other side of the bag that I slit so that it's open. The other side of the doily, the other side of the addition paper. This is where I was running out of steam, folks. This is the other side of that children's book, right? And then on this side, what I did was, remember this was the calendar page that I glued the napkin on, and then I sewed it. I took a piece of scrapbook paper from the Faux Flow and sewed it, and there's a nice pocket there now. And then this beautiful paper, dyed paper, and children's book. These children's books that are matte finish, and they also were string bound, so I take the whole thing out and it's just its own, you know, the folio. And but this paper takes really well to inking and watercolor and what are those things called, water soluble crayons and all that. Just a lot of fun. Okay, then the back, I don't know what happened here. Okay, it looks it looks okay, but this is what I did, okay? So, I don't know how this is gonna work when, I guess it's gonna be fine when I'm journaling or stuff like that. In fact, it'll all work out because a lot of times what I do, just a little side note here, is I will make tags and tucks and pockets and then stick the whole thing into the book, right? Or like in this case, I'll make a tag and decorate a tag up, and then that will go in here for my journaling, so I'm not actually journaling in the book itself. I very rarely do that. Occasionally I do, but very rarely. I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, so this is just a really thin piece of origami paper. Not sure if that was a mistake or not, but it's a tuck spot, right? And so what I did was I took this pretty pink trim and I sewed that on, right? Because the paper's so thin, it boogered up here. So I just took some flowers, some, you know, what are they called? Like paper flowers, right? Or silk flowers or whatever. And I stacked them on top of one another, brought it back to my sewing machine and went, you know, just in a straight line right down the center, just back and forth a few times to stick all of the flower petals together. And then the button, I took my embroidery floss and I just fed it through the holes and tied a knot, right? So it's not sewn onto the page. See, on this page you see nothing because everything was done to this little piece of paper and then it was glued down, okay? And then I just used some fabric tack and glued the button on, okay? And then again, this becomes a little tuck spot. And I can still decorate the back here. I can still do a cluster here, or what, you know, let's say I had receipts, or I have, you know, whatever the case is for that day, you know. I don't generally keep receipts, but if there's a meme I liked, if there, you know, whatever I do to decorate my journals, I could do something right here, and then I can make a big tag or something and put it in here. I can make a little booklet. It all depends on what I'm journaling about that day, but I of course can go through and color the background here, which I would probably do it in yellow, just so you know. And yeah, so that is how the signatures are shaping up, okay? Yeah, and then when I close the thing, guys, you know, I learn something new every day. Or I don't think every day, okay? That it's either one is entirely possible. So this flower sticks out, okay? I don't mind it sticking out. However, it appears as though it's right close to the center of the book. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let me clip this just so nothing falls out, okay? We're gonna clip it, and then let me get, okay, here's the other one. All right, so that's what that's gonna look like. And then let's just take a gander at our cover once again. Here is the cover, and these two signatures are now, they're not complete, okay? Don't get me wrong. They're not complete. However, they are ready to be bound into the book, okay? So this will go, whoops, that doesn't go there. This will go in here. You know what, let me just do this. Let me take this off because it's just bulky and getting in my way. Okay, we're gonna put just some paper clips on here. Again, most of the decorating of this journal is going to be done while I'm journaling in it, okay? All right, let's get this together, Elizabeth. You're all thumbs today. All right, there are my two signatures, see? And then they're going to go into the book just like this, okay? Like that, all right? And stuff is hanging out. I am perfectly fine with that. Now, let me just share with you though, I will be expanding this spine, okay? I'm going to be cutting the spine out, all right? I will be, and let's see, I will be cutting it right along this edge here. If you can, I will show you in the next installment, okay? But right along here, all right? I'm not gonna use this like little gusset thing. Then we're going to increase our spine. We're going to put new, whatever these things are called, fly leaf. Is that what they're called? I don't know. Somebody let me know down below. Yeah, we're going to put new paper here. And then that's pretty much it. Add our spine, okay? And I'm not going to do anything to the front, okay? Nothing at all. I might decorate the spine. I'm not sure. We'll have to see when that time comes. And yeah, so I think this is gonna look nice, right? I hope. I don't know. But yeah, it'll look nice. And again, the spine will be bigger. It will probably be a 2-inch spine, possibly, which is what these spines are. That's what this spine is, a 2-inch spine. And for me, that just works perfectly, right? That's only 18 or 8 pages each signature in there. And look how fluffy it gets, okay? So yeah, if we look at the difference, like, look at that. Yeah. Yeah. So there you have it, okay? I hope that you enjoyed that. I'm so very sorry that it took me this long to do it, and now we can get moving on, okay? So our signatures are ready to be sewn into the book. The next video will be, doing the cover, which, yeah, I usually do the cover last, believe it or not, and I don't decorate my cover very much. So, anywho, that's going to be in the next installment of how to make a junk journal. There are a variety of ways to make a junk journal, okay? You don't have to have a sewing machine and all of that. All you need is a variety of paper. That's it. That's all you need. Yeah, so I hope you've been enjoying this series. Thank you so much for your patience and your understanding. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for sharing your time with me. I know it's precious, and that I really appreciate. So thank you very much. And check it out. Next Friday will probably be the making of the journal itself, okay? Adding the spine and getting it ready to sew in the signatures, all right? So look forward to that, and I will bid you adieu. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a great week. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe in case you forgot. Anyway, thanks again. Talk to y'all soon. Bye for now.